Good morning, crafty friends. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Stamp and Create with Beth. I'm Beth Roy, an Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today is Saturday, December 13th, 2025. Welcome. Just pull up my video. If you come in, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Good morning, Joan. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to comment over there as well. So today, I want to talk ornaments. Good morning, Linda. And over the years, I have made a ton of different kinds of ornaments. So I have a little sampling here of some that I have done. And today we are going to make a paper ornament. So I have shown this type of ornament in the past. And I had a friend of mine does signs and woodworking, and she made these to my specifications. And I use a piece of paper, I stamp on it, color it, do whatever I want to do, and then I adhere it onto this piece of wood. I've also made these little ornaments with the mini embroidery hoops. I'm out of the hoops, so or I can't find them, I should say. But you can make ornaments tailored to who you're giving them to. Okay, you don't have to make them wintry themed. You can just make them things that people love. I've also stamped on things like wood slices, and I buy these off of Amazon. I've stamped it, personalized it, colored it. I like to make these for my nephews and my kids. I couldn't find some of my older ornaments. This is just a Dollar Tree ornament, and I glued a paper tree to the lid. And then I added some fake snow and a ribbon. So this is just a plastic ornament that you can easily pick up. So those are some things I've done in the past. And now, also I wanted to show you this. This is something, I don't have any of the ornaments I made apparently, or not within reach. But these are ornaments that screw together. And I've used half of one, and you adhere with hot glue a paper backing onto it, so it's like a dome, and you can build scenes in here and just layer your die cuts and then add some fake snow. So I've done that. So I wanted to give you just some ideas of things you could do. Now here are my ornaments from this year that I've been making, and today we are going to make a shaker ornament. Good morning, Maggie. Oh, Joan, I have heard that you have flooding in your area. So prayers for everyone affected there. Lots of rain. We are supposed to get some snow today, and it's going to be very cold here. So today, I made a couple of layered ornaments. And these are just with dies. Now this one is quite thick. I layered up, I think there's like 9 layers on this. And I love scenes with animals. I just like rustic things. So this is a type of ornament that I would like on my tree. And actually I had to run upstairs and steal it off of mine because my husband already hung it up on our tree. And then this one you've seen. So this one's a little bit thinner, and then I decided to add more layers. So this is a new stamp set that you can get called Outdoor Adventure. I used it with the Everyday Arches dies. On this one, I used several die sets that are leaving. So if there's things that you like, that you want, and they're in the last chance, grab them, because once they're gone, that's it. They're gone. So I used the textured note dies to make my layers, and then I made a frame for the very top. So I used, this was a die from Light and Wonder to make my front, which you could just freehand. The deer are from the Autumn Trees, and then these trees in the mountain are from Scenic Adventure. So all of these dies are leaving except for the textured notes. So there's those two. And then I have this shaker card, which I made, and I have to add my backing on. I'm going to tell you about that when we make the ornament. But this one is just a stamped scene, and I made it into a shaker card. I did make a frame for the front, and I used sequins. So you can use whatever you want to fill it. I have a little deer in there that I put a lot of sequins in there, but this is the largest Everyday Arches die, so you can make any size ornaments you want. I really think it's fun. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Linda. So today, and this one I filled it a little too full, so my snow is stuck. It's not wanting to move around very well, but that's okay. So this one, I used the branching out dies and a window sheet and some paper, and I colored everything. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you this. I have limited time, so hopefully this is going to be a quick video. Okay, now you notice I didn't put any words on here. You could adhere words on the front or stamp some greetings on the inside. It's completely up to you, or you can just have some fun images in there. So let's get busy. Are you guys ready? And I'm trying not to, I don't know if you guys can see, but I have literally put I have lotion on, so I have fingerprinted my window sheet, and it's not perfect, but that's okay. So let me grab my dies. I want to tell you how to make these frames, but I'm not going to die cut anything. I'm just going to be giving some explanations. So for this ornament, I have 2 of the largest sized dies, and I love the shape of this. I think it's really fun. And then I've created 2 frames to go on the front, and I have a window sheet that's cut with the die that is the same size as the back. And then I have some bits and pieces here. I do have 2 branches already colored and some little berries, but I am going to show you how I did these. I already have them die cut. And then I'm going to show you how to color a couple things, and then we're going to assemble. Good morning, Deb. Okay. So when I create a frame like this, I use 2 dies, and you want nesting dies, and that just means it's the same shape, and they have various sizes, and you're going to lay them down like that. Okay, so you lay it down, and then you figure out where you want this one, and mine are not perfect, but get it as even as you can. Then you're going to take some removable tape and adhere your 2 pieces together. Okay, so then when you run this through your die cutting machine with your paper, it creates this frame, and you have an extra piece for a card or maybe another paper ornament. I have more ornaments to share. I just have not had a chance to assemble all of them. So on my blog, I will have all the other ornaments. So in a couple days, you'll be able to check that out. And if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a link down in the description. So you just run this through like this, and I leave it taped. So I have 2, I like to do 2 or 3 layers of my frame to really make it sturdy. And you want them to match so that you adhere them and they line up. Okay, so leave it taped until you have all your frames cut that you want, and then you can take it apart. So if you haven't done that before, that's a really fun thing to do. I like to do it for the ornaments, and I also like to do it on cards. So all the little branches and things come from this branching out die set. All right, you guys ready? Okay, and I have this fake snow you just buy. It's just a filler you buy. I also have some, I don't know if any of these are available. I think this is an older product from Stampin' Up. I have shimmer sequins, and then I have these loose silver sequins. I forgot to look and see what kind of shaker material we might have in the store. I tend to buy a whole bunch, and then I don't buy any for a while, so you can just fill it. I also used, on the other one, I said I used sequins. So let me show you. You can buy these in a hobby store and get them in all different colors. So I used to make tons of shaker cards, and I actually have tons of sequins and colors. Stars, balloons. I used to always make a shaker card with every class we did, and I used sequins. So use whatever you have. All right, so I'm going to start by adhering these two pieces together. And you need a couple different kinds of glue to make this. So I brought in my silicone sheet here, matte, for some adhering, because I get pretty messy with this. So I'm putting liquid glue on this, and I want these to match up. And I noticed I cut one end a little bigger than the other, so I just have to make sure that those match up. Okay. And then I'm going to adhere those two together. And then this is going to go off to the side for my next thing. Now, for my die cuts, I already have some that are colored and ready to go. I used 2 of these branches, and I used 2 of the berries and 3 of the pine cones. So I wanted to show you how I colored this, even though I'm not going to use this one. I had too many. So I just lay it down, and I kind of get my glue started, and I just kind of rub it around. I'm not trying to put a lot of glue, just a little bit. That's why it's easy to do it on this silicone sheet, because it isn't going to stick, and then my space stays neat. So I've die cut 2 out of white. I do recommend using thick white, but I am out of thick white. And I'm just going to layer those together. And I'm trying to get them lined up the best I can. That's one of the reasons why I like to use the liquid. So I just line it up, and then I'm going to let it dry. Now, I do recommend, I never think of this, but I am going to recommend it to you. We have adhesive sheets that you can apply to the back of your cardstock. Then after you die cut, you can just peel the backing off and it sticks. So I do recommend doing it that way for these little intricate things. But if you forget, like me, you can do it this way. It's just a little messier. Oh, Joan, you made a snowman shaker card. Oh, I love shaker cards. When I first started doing card classes, I had a shaker card in almost every single class. I just love them. They make me happy. And I've kind of gotten away from making them as much, but they are fun. And I had, we had I think it was a paper pumpkin kit that had a shaker in it or something. And I ended up sending those to some of our people that we send cards to for our church. Because I thought, you know, sometimes you just need a pick-me-up, and who's not going to smile, right? Okay, I'm going to move this for a second. and we're going to do some coloring. Now, let me tell you what else. I already have glue on my fingers. Let me tell you what else you need. You're going to need tear and tape, okay? And look, I've already fingered this up. That's okay. We'll get through it, right? Let's see if I can clean it off a little bit. Probably not. Nope, I think I made it worse. All right, well, it is what it is. You're going to need tear and tape because this window sheet material needs really strong adhesive, okay? So this is going to go underneath here, and so this side is going to get tear and tape, and it's going to go in like that. To make our shaker, you need the foam adhesive strips. So that's going to give the height here and hold in your stuff that you want to shake about. And I was trying really hard not to get this window sheet dirty. I don't know why I have such an issue with it, but I do. Okay, I'm just trying to wipe it off a little bit. It'll be fine, right? No one's gonna notice. Except for me. Somehow I end up getting glue on these things and I don't know how. Good morning, Vicki. The other thing I use is my embossing buddy. So this just has some powder in there that helps it be anti-static or anti-stick, okay? So I rub that on here and you can see everywhere that somehow glue has touched this already. Yeah. So I just have a little rag over here and I'm gonna wipe it off and we'll try again. So you just want to wipe it on there, okay? And we'll do that after we glue it. I'll try to get the other stuff off. I'm not sure what I have on my fingers that I did much better on this one. It doesn't have as many smudges. But like I said, maybe they won't notice. Okay, to color these, I need 3 of these little pine cones. Hopefully you guys can see them. I've got my sheet that I color on and get all grungy there. And to do this, I used blends, and I've got Old Olive, Light and Dark, and I have Dark Mossy Meadow. I have Cherry Cobbler, and I have Natural Tones 500, which is the medium, and Natural Tones 300, which is medium deep. So use whichever browns you have, whatever colors you like is fine. And I'm going to start off by adding the 500 right here. And I'm going up into here. I don't know how real it looks. So if you want, if you're going for a more realistic look, you may want to take your time and put a little more detail on it. I'm just going to do it quick. So I'm coloring my little berry branch here. And I'm not worried about perfect. And then I also did my little pine cones, this color. Oops. Come back here. Don't worry about if it's exactly perfect. We'll fix it. Okay. Now I'm going to do this, and my fingers are sticky, so you'll probably see stuff flying. This is the Dark Mossy Meadow. Can you guys see okay? Let me switch my sheet here. I have all these sheets somewhere. might be easier. This one's really messed up. There we go. Okay. So there's my pine cones, my branch, and my little branch with my pine needles on it. So I'm going to do dark mossy meadow, and I'm just flicking like that. I'm not trying to cover the whole thing. Now I'm going to use my dark old olive, and I'm going to do the same thing. And then the light old olive, and I'm just filling in and covering up the white here. So I'm not really trying to blend it. I'm just trying to cover all the white. So after I put that on, if I want it to have some more dark bits, wrong one, I'm going to come back in with those darker colors. So dark mossy meadow and dark old olive, and just go back over it. So you can see, I just want various greens on there, like we would see on, you know, out in nature. Now I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do the cherry cobbler, and I just do light, and I'm doing little circles. That way where it connects with the branch, I feel like I'm getting a rounded edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you don't want red berries, you could do a blue. I love blue winter berries. You could also do a yellow, like Darling Duckling or something. Now I'm coming in with dark cherry cobbler, and I'm just adding some dark spots here and there around the edge, along the bottom. And then I'm going to go back over just a little bit with that red. Make sure I got all the white. Now I have my 300, which is the Natural Tones medium deep. Oh, sorry, it is sticking to me. And I'm just kind of putting some lines in and cleaning up maybe where that berry connects. So just a really light hand. You're not coloring the entire thing. Just putting some lines in there, like that. So if you see any white spots after you've colored, you can go back and fix those. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just barely touching the paper. And you could even put some of that brown up in here. I don't know about you guys, but some of mine are brown looking. So you can add that up there. Then we're going to do these little guys. And I'm just kind of scribbling some color on there. I want the edges darker. Now this does have some texture to it. You can see kind of those little areas where in the middle here where it gave the pine cone texture. Now I'm going to come back over these with that 500, the lighter color. And just kind of blend it all together and make it a little bit darker. There's my little pine cones. And then I think I'm going to come over these berries a little bit more. Make sure I get the ends of my paper here. So curious, how many of you have tried coloring your die cuts? And kind of just making them unique instead of, you know, maybe using a colored paper. So there are, I still have some white on there. I can see it. Okay, good enough. So I have 2 berry branches, and I have 2 of these. I'll put this one off to the side. We'll use this one. And then I have 3 pine cones to layer. Good morning, Jenny. I'm going to try to get a few things out of my way here. I have a lot of things. Now, for this, we're going to adhere these like this, back to back, so the stitching shows on the outside on the back. But I want to add some color to this first. So I have my pool party and a large blending brush. I'm going to load it up with pool party. So you could use balmy blue, you could use cloud cover, whatever color you want. And I'm just going to start adding color to this. Oops, accidentally stopped and I have a big blob there. That's okay. We'll glue a branch there. So I start off my paper a little bit, and then I'm just coming on and I'm adding that color. And it is hard to see. Pool party, when you first brush it on, it's very light unless you do something like that. So you can put on as much as you want. And I'm just doing circles. You can do back and forth. However you want to get that color on there. You could be really bold and add like pretty peacock. You could do whatever colors you want. You guys want to try pretty peacock? Oh, Joan said you used the blending brush. Nice. Like the blender pen or like one of these blending brushes? So I don't know how well you can see it. Let me pull it up. So do you guys want to try a darker color? A little bit darker? What do you think? Yes, I see a yes. Oh, we can try it. I don't know why. That color just popped in my head. I haven't used it very much this year for my holiday cards, and it's usually my #1 color. So, right. Sure, try it. Yep, let's do it. So I'm going to use that same blending brush, and my pad is having some issues, but that's okay. So I'm going to start it here, and I'm just going to lightly put some on. Okay, so again, you're going to use whatever colors you have and what your favorites are. And as much as you want. Ooh, I like that. And my brush is very well loved. Probably needs a good cleaning, so it's adding some extra texture. And I'm going to show you a little trick. I didn't do it on my original ornament. I'm going to show you a little trick. Ooh, what do you guys think? I like it. So that was pretty peacock. And to clean your brush, you just keep blending on a scrap until all the ink comes out. So sometimes I'm better about cleaning them well than others. So sometimes I say, oh, it's light enough. Okay, so everything seems to have glue on it. Let me show you a little trick. So I have a water painter brush here with some, actually this one doesn't have water in it. Let me find one that has water in it. That has water in it. These come in a set of 3. And I am just going to get this wet. So I'm going to squeeze it over here. Maybe. There we go. So I got it wet. Now this cool effect happens when you drop water onto the classic inks. So I'm just going to flick a little bit of water. And I don't have it really wet, if you guys can see it. I just noticed my brush has ink in it because I didn't clean it very well when I used it last, apparently. So I just squeezed water so that that is on there, and I'm just tapping it. And then it will create a little pattern in there. And I think I added some yellow ink because there was yellow ink in my brush. So you can do that and it'll add little water spots. You could probably spritz it too. I don't have a, let's see if I can. Trying to get a drop on there. Oh, a little big. Let's see if that works. Anyways, it creates water spots. So, I don't know how well you can see it. Good morning, Dad. So, there's just a few there. There it goes. You can kind of see it with that one. I think the other one, because I accidentally had a little yellow ink in there. Probably from when I was painting something. Oh well, we have a little extra texture. So now that we have there, can you guys see that? Anyways, it's a cool effect. Give it a try. So you're just basically dropping water onto where you brushed that background, and it creates like little spots. And the darker it is, the better it shows up. Okay, now we're ready to assemble. So I have my frame. I'm going to lay this on top. I'm going to grab a pencil so that I know where this is. I'm just marking where the side, because I know I want my branches to come out from the side here. So I put some little pencil marks. Don't worry about if they're going to show, because we have somewhere, I have an eraser here. I literally just had it in my hand. We're going to use this eraser and it will take this off without harming your paper. Okay? So don't worry about that. now you just have to kind of put your branches in here and decide where you want them to go. And the reason why I had this marked is because I don't want my branch to be floating. So I want to make sure when I adhere this down, it's somewhere near this. You can cover it a little bit, like if you want it to come way out, you could cover it with a pine cone or, you know, another branch to kind of help extend it. So I want it to go about like this. And then I have this branch. So again, you can extend it a little bit or make them shorter, whatever you like. It's however you want to fill it. And then I just kind of start laying my stuff where I think I might want it to go. And because I have this marked, I know where it's going to come into my border. So something like that. Now we're just going to adhere it down. And I'm using liquid glue. Oh, and I'm going to bring this back in. See all that dried glue on there for me? It just peels off when it dries. So I'm just trying to get this to come out a little bit at a time. It'd be helpful if I had, you know, the little glue that had the really fine tip, but I don't have one right now. So this is what I got. And I'm sure there's easier ways. Like I said, you could do the adhesive sheets, which would have been the best. Or you could use a little dauber and apply. I've seen people do the brushes and all kinds of different things. And I probably won't get this exactly how I just had it. I don't ever seem to put things back exactly the same. Oh, sorry, I am out of the screen. I apologize. So I'm just adding some glue. Oh, it's on my finger again. Okay. I kind of got my glue started and then I'm letting the gravity do the work and just barely put any glue on there. Oh, I should have got my tweezers out. That would have been easier. So if you have glue tips for small, intricate dies, feel free to put those in the comments. Like I said, my number one go-to is adhesive sheets. When I remember to use them, now I'm going to fill in with my little pine cones here. Just pull up that glue. Maybe one here. So how many of you have these dies? I love these. I I think they're great for all kinds of winter cards. And I love this shape, this layering shape that we have. You forget to use them too, the adhesive sheets too. So this project would have been a lot easier if I had remembered, but sometimes I don't know what I want to make and I just get going with my die cutting. And then I think, oh yeah, I should have used adhesive sheets. So you can see how I kind of layered it. Some of it is going, I think this one's going into the frame a little bit. Maybe not. That's okay. This is going to go over top like this. So there's our little winter branch. Now, you will need ribbon or twine. And I used the linen thread. Use whatever you have. You can use a colored one. You can color this with blends even if you want. So, I usually use about 12 inches. You can adjust that to however long you want it to be. I think that's what I used. Looks about right. And this is going to go in between this sheet right here. So again, adjust this length for whatever you like, and this sheet so that our hanger is attached down into our ornament. So before we do that, we're going to adhere this on. And again, I've really kind of made a mess of mine. It's all grimy looking because I had glue everywhere today and well, it got on there. So I tried to clean it off with, but I haven't been successful. Let's see if I can do a better job here. I don't know how I do this sometimes, but some days I'm really neat and some days I'm really messy. Thank you. So I was just trying to wipe it off there with what? I have glue on it. Ah, let me see that adhesive eraser. I can pick that up. Get it out of there. And it will look like I smeared stuff all over it. So try to handle your window sheets with care. Not like me. And hopefully whoever receives this will be okay with it. And I'm just wiping it off. This is plastic, so clean it however you want. And I think I've just put more on there. We're just gonna go with it before I keep messing it up even more and more. Like I said, if you have lotion on, it's bound to show it. Okay, I have my embossing buddy. This will take away stickiness. So I put all that glue on here. I'm just gonna put some of that powder on it. And you can probably see it kind of flying away. Oops. Have it all over me. Okay, probably went a little overboard there, but so I just dusted it on there. I'm gonna erase that pencil line that we don't need anymore, just in case. Don't want it to show. So I have anything that's sticking up, by dusting that powder, I took away the stickiness. have a dry towel. Just dusting some of it off the top here. Now this, again, is going to go behind here. So I have it the stitch side up so that it matches my shape. And I'm going to use tear and tape on this. Thank you, Vicki and Deb. Like I said, sometimes window sheets and I have a love-hate relationship. I love them. I like to make shaker cards, but I'm not always the neatest. So I'm going to take this tear and tape and I'm going all the way to the edge. Okay. And I'm going to do all my straight bits. I need to stand up. Can't see. All my straight bits here. You do not want this to come off or all your shaker stuff is going to fall out. So this is creating the top layer. Now I like to put a little piece here. I want everything to be really fastened down. Okay. Okay. Just make sure that's really down on there. And then we're just going to start peeling this off. And I do all the long strips first. The take your pick tool is a really useful thing at this stage in the game. Mine's on the other side of the room, so then I pull off my corners. And make sure nothing is sticking over this edge. So if it is, you're just going to fold it in, okay? Now, your window sheet, like I said, don't pay attention to how dirty mine is. You're going to line that up and take your time, okay? Because it needs to line up exactly. That's why I did the die cut and I didn't just try to fit a square, okay? So I'm going to make sure these two parts right here line up before I press it down. And then press really well. You want all of those to be tight. If not, if anything comes open, it's possible this will come apart. And then your stuff ends up coming apart. Okay. Next, we're going to use the foam tape. And you can do, if you want, you can do a layer of the tear and tape again before the foam tape, if you want it to make sure that it's really stuck on there. I'm just going to do the foam tape. And I just start by building my barrier. So I'm going to go the full length here. My paper is coming off. I don't want that to happen. So this is going to create the space where your filler is going to go. Good. Okay, now I'm going to take my smaller pieces that I have left, and I'm going to kind of make that corner. And I'm trying really hard not to get the backing to come off because I want it to stay protected. Because I want to be able to do my powder. And if my tape is exposed, it will not be sticky anymore. So all of this needs to touch. Okay, otherwise your stuff falls out. So you can angle it however. You want to make sure you press it down really well. And then, oops, I'm going to cut that one a little short. Scoot it over a little bit. These foam strips can be used on circles. I've made circle shaker cards and all kinds of things. They really will move and kind of form to how you want them to go. So I'm just pressing those down. I want to make sure that they're really stuck to that window sheet. And then I'm just going to rub this a little bit so that when I put my shaker stuff in there, it doesn't just stick. I think I'm going to use this. These are called the loose silver sequins. So whatever you have in your stash. And I put way too much snow on my other one, so I'm just going to put a little bit in here. These are different sizes, so I'm just laying that in there. So whatever your filler is, put some in. Now we're going to pull this apart. I just realized I forgot to put my hanger in. Normally I do that before I do this. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. There might be an easier way. But it will work out. It'll be okay. Did I pull that? Oh. Okay. I'm going to do this really quick. Now, let's do this one because I want to make sure it's really attached. You're going to need your tear and tape again. And you're going to decide how tall you want this. And I liked mine to go down in a little bit so it really gets secured in there. So I'm using tear and tape to hold that, and then I'm going to create a little knot down toward the bottom, like that. We're going to pull this backing off. Okay, and then add some liquid glue. Now, this goes on top like this. So I'm just lining those up and then pressing it down. And if you don't want it to show, maybe you've stamped on an image and you've done a layer, you'll want to do 2 layers on the front so that this hanger doesn't show through. Now, and it also depends on what you use. If you use something really thick, it might show a little bit more. Okay, we're going to do it this way. Normally, I do it the other way. Let's see. Okay, so get all your little bits back in there in the middle. And then I'm going to just lay this down over top. So if you had wanted words stuck in there, you could have stamped something, or you can add something to the top. So I just lined it up best I could, and then you're going to press down. There, those move a little bit better than the snow, but you can see I probably could have put a little bit more in there, but that's okay. You could also glue some of these if you have the loose sequins or gems or whatever. You could glue some of those in there so they're stuck, and then some that shake around. Now on this one, I think let's add a, oh, I have a Celebrate the Season here. Wrong color though. Let's add a little greeting. I feel like I gotta stamp something. So I have a little Merry Christmas here. I think this is from the paper pumpkin. I'm just gonna use it. And let's see, I'll just stamp it in Pretty Peacock. Use your favorite colors. Use your favorite colors. I like to make the ornaments based on, you know, the person I'm giving them to. And I like to do all kinds of things. I've done trucks, I've done, little critters, like we had a fox one year, and I've done all kinds of different things. Just smoothing down my edges here. And I'm going to trim this, and we're going to put it on the front. You can use tear and tape or regular glue or whatever you want. You could put it on the top too. You could put it up here. What do you think? The top or the bottom? When it's hanging, your shakers are going to be down here. This would also be cute as a, like a gift bag tag. Oh, thank you. Maybe we'll stick it up here. That way when it's hanging, stuck it on the top. Hope you guys like it. So when it's hanging, you can still see your little sequins. There we go. So you can see I way overfilled this. I used the fake snow and I put way too much and it's stuck, but that's okay. I think it's still pretty. And I used Pool Party on the background. So there we have it. There is our paper ornament. So here's one that this does not have a window sheet. It is just layered. And I used blends. Again, those details will be on my blog. Here's the other shaker I did with the sequins. Look how pretty that is. My deer's kind of covered up, but that's okay. And then here's another paper ornament with I don't know if that's an elk. I'm assuming it's an elk. This is from the Outdoor Adventure new stamp set. And I sprinkled Wink of Stella on there. And you might notice Wink of Stella reacts with your classic ink colors. So I went back in with a white paint pen and made my dots white again because they turned red when I sprinkled it. But you can have a lot of fun doing this. You can customize them to the person you're giving them to. And you can also use these for bag tags if you give gift bags. And then the person can take it off and use it as an ornament. So really, really fun. I hope you've enjoyed these. Thank you all for joining me this morning. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products, hop over to bethroy.stampinup.net and click on the shop now. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye.